back, everybody, to another Digital Gate Studios production. We got Jacob finally back in house.
What's up, everybody?
It must be purple time.
Oh, absolutely. You know it is.
So this must be what, Lord Knight? It's purple? Royal Knights?
No, I do actually kind of want to build that, but no, we're talking about Belphemon.
Okay.
Very strong deck, very fun deck. It does lots of purple shenanigans, which is the best kind of shenanigans. So you want to just get on into it?
Let's go.
So just to start off, nice and easy, all 12 Gizmons, 444. You kind of have to just auto-include these.
Yeah.
So that's why we're just going to throw these out first, because it's no surprise in a Belphemon deck we're playing these. These are fantastic cards because the on-plays draw cards, trash cards, or play the Tamer from trash. And they are just so hard to deal with sometimes because of the way they can play each other from trash, as well as put cards back into your deck, so you're not going to deck yourself out doing your purple stuff. These cards are just do everything you need for this deck. They set up. Make sure you get the right cards you need. They, you always have a board presence. It's just so hard for people to deal with. As well as, like, this one's a really good turn one, because for one cost, delete your egg, draw one, trash one, and then next turn you're hatching and you're ready to digivolve anyway. So
you choke your opponent.
this is probably my favorite turn one, if not this into the level 4, if I have, go in second, have the memory. So probably enough on those guys. Getting into our eggs finally. Weird not starting with those, right?
The eggs that get deleted.
Yeah. So 4 Demi-Mera, solid purple staple. Can't go wrong with this card. I mean, it's nothing type specific, so we're going to just on deletion draw one, trash one. We are going to be deleting Digimon or just sending them in and letting them die, whatever they're going to do. But like I said, because we delete our own eggs, we do want that 5th egg. So for our 5th, I'm playing the Kapurimon.
Okay.
You can really play any egg with this. A lot of times it's not going to matter that much. This one's on deletion. You can trash card in your hand to delete a rookie. This is good for 2 things. One, gets cards out of your hand because Belphemon needs, specific numbers, as we will talk about. And 2, it can just kill little bodies, especially in the early game. That can be pretty relevant. Other options, there's the Sunamon when you discard draw, but you got to be careful not drawing too many cards.
Yeah.
Moving on to our rookies. This next one, I am not taking this out. This is not something most people play. Most people are playing Phascomon, and in its spot, I'm actually playing our Security Impmon.
I love it.
I have no regrets doing this. In theory, on paper, this can kind of screw you up because it goes to hand after security check, and it can kind of screw up your math, and it's only ever, lost me a game from that one time, but it has won me games so many more times because you always have a rookie you can use. You can play the Proto Gizmon to start rebuilding your board, draw one, trash one. So many shenanigans you can do with that, or you can, play floodgates off of it. There's just so much this card can do. While the Phascomon, I see the value. This is doing so much more for me. Moving on, we have some toolbox one-ofs. We have one more Impmon. This is the on-play trash a card to pick up a Demon Lord or 3 Musk. Turns out Belphemon is a Demon Lord. So being able to recycle those sleep modes is going to just buy you so much more time.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yep. Not necessarily needed, but it can go a long way, and it's definitely helped a lot. We have 1 Gazi and 1 Psychmon, just easy floodgates. I don't feel the need to have any more than 1 because you don't need them that often, and with the way this deck works, you will have them when you need them. You go through so much drawn trash, and you have so much recursion from Graveyard being a purple deck, and this deck did a very good job of playing to the strengths of that. So that's actually it for rookies. Only the 7 outside of the Proto Gizes. We are not that worried about it because, like I said, this is still just a solid turn 1. So it's not like if you miss Digivolving the Raising, you're just not out of the game like you are with other decks.
Makes sense.
All right, moving on, talking about level 4s. We got 3 copies of Gizmon Scatter Mode. Easy 4 of, however, room can be tight. And it's on deletion. Draw 3, trash 2 is fantastic.
It's insane.
Every deck it's ever been in.
Yep.
A lot of times it just has jamming anyway. But our focus a lot of times is more on setting up the Gizmon than it is getting the 3 into 2, especially with how few Digimon we're playing that can Digivolve, because the Gizmons cannot. So honestly, sometimes this is more, let me discard this so later I can play my one of Gizmon. The free play level 4 is huge. We'll talk about why in a minute. But, I mean, it's fantastic in any deck, and the more scatter modes, the bigger its power. But just having that free level 4 body can go a very long way. So our last two level 4s, that's going to be a one of Devimon.
Old school.
Throwback card, fantastic alt art, love this. This is our blocker for 1-cost Evo. This is good in multiple ways. 1-cost Evo is super good for kind of turboing turn 1, turn 2, and then, later deleting it for your level 5 Gizmon, or just using it for the blocker. It's really easy to recur that, bring it back out later when, your opponents maybe forgot about it or didn't even know you had it. And the blocker can save a lot of games. Last level 4 is a one of Ogremon. This is a very far throwback to BT6, to a card that was hardly played then, if at all. Its on play lets you trash a card to delete an opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. This does two fantastic things for us. That's get cards out of hand and delete opponents' bodies, especially when they least expect it.
Good for floodgates.
Yep.
Yeah.
Moving on, that is it for 4s. We have our entire set of level 5s as Astamons. That is all we have for level 5s outside of the Gizmons.
That's all you need, though, man. That card is so strong.
So this has one effect that triggers both when on play and when digivolving, and it's delete one of your other Digimon to go into a Belphemon from your hand for free. This can be very good if you have a level 4, even if you're at 0. You just give them 3, you're at your sleep mode, and you just, from there, you're where you need to be.
Yeah.
And its inheritable is absolutely phenomenal. It is whenever a card is trashed from your hand during your opponent's turn, you can play a level 4 or lower purple Digimon. And as we talked about, we have a toolbox for that. We have Ogremon to kill off some bodies, Devimon to make blocks, Psyche and Gazi for floodgates, Entmon to pick up stuff later. Or if there's nothing you need, you just grab Gizmons to get their on-play, draw trash, set up your hand, and build that sticky board state that's just so hard to deal with, because once they deal with one, you have another and another.
Yeah.
This card is probably one of the cornerstones of the deck, without a doubt. And if you can ever get this on your free Gizmon, it's just huge. Now talking about 6s, with our only 4 level 5s, we're playing much more 6s. So here's our Belphemons. It is a playset of each, 4 and 4.
Yeah.
You kind of have to go this route. The sleep mode is the one you're trying to digivolve into, and then you tuck the rage mode from trash. So that's one of your key targets to make sure you discard early. From there, your opponent can't affect it with effects till the next turn. And whenever they attack once per turn, you can discard 2 cards in your hand to stop an attack. It just ends the attack, so it's not even a blocker. And so this, once you're into it, you can stall very hard by stopping attacks, plus it discards to trigger the Astamon, so you can get your blockers and your removal if you need to. And then from there, at the end of opponent's turn, the rage mode will strip the top of the sleep mode. It becomes the rage mode. Start of your turn, it board wipes. It gets bigger if you have 6 or less cards, and it unsuspends, and it just hits like a truck. So the whole purpose of the deck is a lot of setup into the sleep mode with the rage mode underneath. Buy a turn while your opponent does whatever they want to pretend to do, and then just punch them in the face hard. And it does that very well. We're not done with our 6s, actually. We are playing a full set of Nidhoggs.
Yeah.
I tried this at 2, I tried this as 3, and every time, even at 4, I want more.
Yeah.
This card is absolutely fantastic in any purple deck that discards. This is no exception, if not this deck more than any other deck.
You don't use it as a level 6.
Yeah, it is a rough spot if you ever do. I have had to do it in this deck, but it's when you trash it, Gain a Memory is all you need. This card could be absolutely nothing else, and it would be worth it. Because you're drawing and discarding off your Gizmons, off your scatter modes, off your Demimera, so much. And even just discarding this when your opponent attacks, you can end their turn, not just their attack.
Yeah.
So, fantastic card. Another play I love is Security Entmon plays the Proto Gizmon, which discards the Nidhogg, passes turn that way. That's another very fun one that'll get a lot of people. That's going to be it for Digimon. Let's talk about some Tamers. This is our dedicated Belphemon Tamer. He lets you delete Gizmons, which is why we need the full stack of them in order to just hard play Belphemon for cheap. His effect for tucking the rage mode is also an on play. So while it is not the ideal route, being able to just hard play this for 5 or even for 2 is a fantastic way of just starting if you have no other way. It is a very good alternate route. But what this does even better is at the end of your opponent's turn, you can draw and discard. And again, this is a good spot for Nidhogg because you can get a little more memory for your turn and then tuck this to kill level 6. So you can get a lot of people caught off guard that way. Next, we have our dedicated option, Gift of Darkness as a 3-of. I do not think this needs to be more. Its security effect is very strong of being able to discard a card to blow something up. So trashing a Nidhogg, you can delete a level 6 or lower. And I mean, even Gizmon to kill a floodgate and play it, There's a lot you can do with this. Moving on, we have Purple Memory Boost. I think I need to fit these up here. We're running out of space. This is just a 2-of. One of those cards you'd like to have more, but you just don't have the space.
Yep.
Which can't go wrong with it. You could make the argument for Missed Memory Boost. However, I think this is just a much better card for this deck because you more want to control your draws and your trashes. And if they're on the bottom of your deck, with the way the Gizmon cycle through your deck and then go back to the bottom, you're going to get back to those cards eventually anyway.
Yeah.
And just rounding it off with our staple 1-of Calling from Darkness.
Leave home without it.
With this deck, when you are rolling, you do not lose unless you run out of sleep modes, which is why the Impmon and the Calling from Darkness can get those back for you, and you can just buy so much more time. Because it's hard to deck out with the Gizmons, and it's hard for them to, get through your security with the Belphemon stopping their attacks, playing an extra body, maybe it's a blocker, removal, whatever it may be. So that's our list. What do you think?
I think it's a crazy deck, and if you're like me and you've played this deck and you think that, I'm just going to deck them out, just always remember that they keep recycling those Gizmons and they keep retucking them. And I think that's what makes this deck so strong and so formidable, other than the, being immune from your opponent's effects for a turn. That's dandy. But at the same time, purple always has like the Belphemon matchup. That always has that potential, like they're going to run out of cards eventually. Your deck doesn't necessarily do that. You recycle a lot of cards. You can.
Yeah, it still will. But because, the on-play still draw 2 trash too, but the on-deletion puts 2 back on the bottom. So it's putting in as much as it's taking out. But the Proto gives us, put 2 back in, draw 1 trash one. So
it's not quite as fast as other purple decks as far as decking.
Right. Also, maybe not as fast as winning the game, but with the stall potential of the sleep mode, it more than makes up for it. And then there's just that huge turn with the Belphemon.
All right, guys. Well, another BT13 deck profile in the can, ready for you guys.
Best deck in format.
Yes. We're almost ready for RB1. It's coming out soon, so we'll see what we can build out of that. I think we have a whole 3 options.
Oh, we'll have some fun times.
All right, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you, Jacob, for joining me.
My pleasure.
Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.